Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to talk about HP ProLiant BL680c Gen5 server memory upgrade kits and how to properly load and configure the system. Let's get started. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the HP ProLiant BL680c Gen5. If you find anything in this video useful, do us a favor and click that like and smash that subscribe. Well, hey, let's get started. Well, first things first, this is an older machine. It's definitely not one that you're going to be putting into production. If anything, you're going to be upgrading an older one just to get a band-aid to extend the life of it a little bit, because Gen5 is definitely on the older side. It accepts DDR2 memory. There are 16 DIMM slots inside. It accepts a number of different speeds, or really only two, 667 and 800 megahertz, and really 667 is the most predominant in what everybody uses. As far as the sizes are concerned, you can use 1 gig, 2 gig, 4 gig, or all the way up to 8 gig. No, there are no 16 gigs. There are no 16 gigs for this machine. Unfortunately, 16 gig DDR2 was just never invented, so 8 gig will be the max that you can get on a per module basis. And the type of RAM that you can use is fully buffered, also known as an FBDIMM, and that is the only type of module that you can use. You cannot use ECC registered. Unfortunately, it is not compatible, meaning the max for this machine is 16 by 8 gig using 667 megahertz. All right, well, now that we know a little bit more about it, let's go ahead and pop it open and discuss a little bit about how to install it. But before we do, I'm going to grab my ESD gear. Really, you never want to be inside your machine without some kind of protection, so I'll be right back. All right, now that we have our ESD gear on, we're safe to open the machine. What we're going to do here in a second is we're going to max it out, as we discussed, at 128 gigabytes and load 16 8 gigs. But before we did, I wanted to actually show you guys real quick. This is a fully buffered module. You can tell because it has the heat shield, which on occasion ECC registered will, but more often than not it doesn't. I wanted to put them next to each other to compare them for you guys, because people unfortunately all too often mix these up and will try to use one for the other. Even though it's slightly off, you can kind of tell make sure they're perfectly aligned here, that the notch in the middle, the key that we talk about, how important that key is just slightly off between ECC registered and fully buffered. So it just physically will not fit in the machine if you grab the wrong module. So I figured I'd start by that and just show you that before we get rolling too far. So, all right, now how to open the machine. Hey, pretty simple. Just make sure your latch is set to unlock. Pop it open, and when you do, you'll see it kind of opens up there, and you're just going to lift the top up, pretty much just like any machine you've ever been in. Very simple. You will notice, because it's a blade, there are no power supplies in the back. You have 4 CPUs up here. There are 2 air baffles. This is the air baffle for the first set of DIMMs, and this is the air baffle for the second set of DIMMs. Unfortunately, with the DDR2 model of servers, they're not color-coded for the tabs, which helps quite a bit for the channels, and you have to look really close. I'm getting older in my age, so it's harder to see, but you gotta get really close in between these DIMM slots, and you'll see it'll say what it is. So this is DIMM slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you're going to come back around. It's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they're technically labeled inside, but again, it's kind of hard. So basically, you just start 1 all the way to 8, 9 all the way to 16. So one of the things that I always like to do, and it's a tip that I tell people, I personally like to pop open all my tabs before I get started. It just makes it a lot easier, so I'm not fumbling around with memory trying to open them. Like if I have memory in my hands, it'll be kind of preventing you from getting it in. So just simple things to make it easier. And we kind of talked about the key, and I wanted to just refocus on it here. This notch in the middle, this key is very important, and it's different from module type to module type. So you have to know what type of module to use, otherwise you just physically won't be able to install them, and you can't put any kind of memory in any kind of machine. It just doesn't work like that. So this key is very important. You have to line it up properly because it's not perfectly centered, and if you don't line it up properly, you could easily damage the module or damage the DIMM slot itself, neither of which you want. So you just need to be very careful when you do the first one. Just make sure you line it up properly, and it's very simple, and I just stress that point because it is a common user error. So I just like to point that out. So okay, I put the first module in. You'll notice that it's sitting there. I mean, I'm not holding it, it's physically there. However, the module itself is not fully seated. And that's another really common user error where someone thinks that they have a bad DIMM or that their module is a failure. It's not registering. No, the module is not fully seated. Okay, so here's what you need to do. You make sure you hear these 2 clicks. Click 1. Click 2. So basically what's happened is there's these notches on the side of your modules, and the tabs themselves will, when you push them down, will hook to the side of the modules and actually make the module physically go in so that the leads down here are actually connected inside. So and if you don't fully seat it, then basically the module will not register. It's a very, very common user error. I tell people it happens all the time. I've done it myself more times than I can count. I don't care if you've been a technician 20 years, this is your first day on the job. It's an easy mistake. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of these and hit the fast forward, and you'll see the completion here just in a second. So one thing that I would like to note is the module flips as far as the key. So it was facing one way on the left side and it's facing a different way now on the right side. So that's just very important, again, just to make sure you don't accidentally put it the wrong way, and if you do, again, you could just damage the module. Alright, so just that easy. It took us a couple of minutes, and you can max this out at 128 gigabytes. And like I said, if you're at home and or I'm sorry, if you're at your office and this is what you're using, this is your server, the easiest way to extend the life of this machine is to upgrade the RAM. Really maxing this out at 128 gigabytes is kind of a no-brainer if you're still running on this, because it won't cost you that much money, a couple $100 maybe, and you'll increase the performance exponentially. So if you're running this machine, I would personally recommend make sure that you have 128 gigabytes in here. So anyhow, now that we've installed it, we're just going to pop the air baffles back on. So you just need to make sure you line it up properly. You'll notice there's these holes on the inside that you're just going to line up with the little notches that are sticking up. So really, it's like I said, just that simple. Very easy process to do. And if you made it this far, hey, do us a favor, click that like and smash that subscribe. And if you're looking for any upgrades for your HP ProLiant BL680c Gen5, do us a favor, email us at sales@cloudninjas.com. That's sales@cloudninjas.com, or call the number below. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and you have a great day.